Hello everyone, and welcome to rchelp.com. I'm Tony, and guys, I heard you. Comments here on YouTube, PMs on the site, emails, people telling me in person, stop doing quad videos, especially those cheap quads. You got it. We're going to get back into helicopters right now. This is the Align 450 SEV2. It started its life as the HK 450 GT. This is the exact same helicopter you guys saw in the flight school series. Everything's been replaced. It's got an Align head, it's got Emax servos, it's got a Scorpion motor from Ryan, as well as a GP780 gyro. It's got a Castle ESC, a DS520 tail servo, and the Align head, which is all from Rodney or TrainRider06 on the website. He's one of my moderators. Got to thank him for that. And then I got to thank Banggood for sending me these Emax servos. So the way we do this is we start at the servo, we work our way up. You guys know how to put models in here. There is no flybarless gyro on this, and it's not a 3GX, so we go in here, we set up 120 degree swash, 3 servo. Get all your servos working in the correct direction, and then we start. First things first, we have to 90 the servo arms to the links. Once that's done, then we're going to adjust the swash plate, make sure it's nice and level so we don't get no drifting. But if we do get drifting, this is a flybar helicopter, we can use trims. Once that's done, then we'll stick the top of the head back on, and we'll adjust these 2 links here that come up here to the mixing arms, and we'll adjust the blade pitch. We're going to shoot for about 12 degrees of pitch on collective, and probably 8 to 10 degrees of pitch on the Cyclic. So without further ado, get your radio set up, get your model in there, get it named, set the swash, make sure it's got hold on it. You're going to need hold. Or unplug your motor. It's actually safer to unplug your motor. And then we got to take the top of this head off, and we're going to get started. With the bolt out and all the links undone, we'll just go ahead and pull the head off. Now we're left with the swash plate and the servos. If you guys don't have a swash plate leveling tool, you can do this with a zip tie. Strap a zip tie around here, then have it come over and come down and touch the arm of the swash plate. It does the exact same thing. Then all you got to do is just rotate it around and make sure your swash is perfectly level. We're going to use this, but like I said, we've got to get those servos 90. Now make sure in your radio that you have a linear curve. That way you're at 50% at mid-stick, and turn throttle hold on or unplug your motor, guys, please. Alright, so we'll go ahead and plug the battery in. With the battery plugged in, we'll go to mid-stick. And then we'll check our servos. Now, in order to do this, you just go into your sub-trim and you sub-trim them out. Make sure all your servo arms are exactly 90 degrees to the links. If they're not 90 degrees, what that means is, I'll do this because it's a lot bigger, but if you do like this, and then you got 12 degrees positive, 12 degrees negative, it's the exact same throw up and down. But if you're like this, and that's 0 degrees, okay, now you're going to have to come up here to get 12 degrees of positive pitch, but you're only going to come down here to get 12 degrees of negative pitch. You must have it perfectly straight across, that way you have an equal throw up and down, so that you can get the best head setup. Once we have the servos completely 90 degrees to the links, then use your swash plate leveling tool or get your zip ties out. So we'll set our tool on there, and then we'll look at it, and I can see that the elevator is a little low. Actually, no. My aileron servo is just a touch too high. So we're going to go in, and we're just going to lower this down. It's really hard to see on camera, so I'm not even going to try to show it. Alright, and with that, our swash plate is completely level. Now, one thing that is of utmost importance, guys, get the manual for this. You can get it on the website in the download section under the articles tab. Go in there and find out what your measurement is on the links. Get you one of these, set it up to that length, and then make sure that you have the links set at the correct length. Length. Right on. Alright, now, once that's done, we can put the head back on and we can start adjusting everything else. Pop our head on. I find it easier to go ahead and put the links on first, and then go ahead and bolt the head to the main shaft. Alright, once that's done, now we need to find that little bitty hole. And right there it is. Now, I never put thread lock on this when I'm putting it through. Once it's through, I'll put a little bitty dab right there on the end, and then I'll go ahead and put the nut on. Once the bolt's through, grab you a little thread lock, a little dab right down into the threads, put your nut on, and you're good to go. This is blue. See? Blue. It's not red. Stop hounding me about that. Alright, once that's on, we need to check our pitch. Now, if you're using a Flybar locking tool and a digital pitch gauge, then set it on there, get your helicopter facing right towards you, level your pitch gauge right here across the frame, that way you know it's perfectly level to the helicopter, and then the only place that you check these blades is right here in the front. For us, since we're using a mechanical gauge, it doesn't really matter which way you do it. In all honesty, as long as your swash is level, it doesn't really matter. So I know that I want 12 degrees of collective pitch. First things first, we have to check our 0 degree pitch. So I will put my gauge right on 0. And then slide it on the blade. Now I found with these, if you're further away, it works better. With the digital pitch gauges, you want it up here by the blade grip as far as you can. It makes it more stable. And if your blade has any twist in it, it'll help get rid of all that, which hopefully your blades don't have twists in it. Alright, whenever you do this, just put your pitch gauge on here, the top of your pitch gauge, and your fly bar. That's what you look at. You look at the right over the top of this, line it up with your fly bar, and you check your pitch. Now, I have about a half a degree of positive pitch. I could tune it out, but it's not really that big of a deal for me. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it. Because I have more positive pitch than I have negative pitch, my swash plate's too high. If you have more positive than negative, it's too high. If you have more negative and positive, then your swash plate's too low. Use your 3 links from your servo to your swash to adjust that out. Now I know that I want 12 degrees of collective pitch. So what we're going to do, we're going to set our gauge to 12 degrees, lock it in place, hold your fly bar to where it's nice and level-ish, and then go all the way up and check your pitch reading. I actually need just a hair bit more. So the way you do this is you go into your radio, find your swash or swash plate menu, go in there and you raise the pitch setting. Alright. So what we need to do, add just a little bit. And right there is about 12 degrees of positive collective. So now we'll go down here to 12 degrees of negative collective, lower our stick all the way down, and then check that. And it is like dead on. I may have 12.5 or 12.25, but that is really close. And to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, just line up your fly bar, try to get it on a black background, make sure it's level. And as you can see, I'm only a hair off. And what I'll do is I'll raise it all the way up, swing this back around, I'll show you my positive, and then right there you see that I am really, really close. So now what we need to do is we need to check our cyclic pitch. In order to check your cyclic pitch, like I said, I'm wanting about 8 to 10 degrees, so I'm going to set it on about 9. And then what you do, I'll just swing it around so you guys can see this. We'll go in here, we'll set it back to mid-stick, which means we have 0 degrees of pitch. Now if we have the helicopter like this, which is perpendicular to the tail boom, what we would need to do is we would need to use elevator to adjust and find out what our cyclic pitch is. If we do it in line with the tail, then we need to use the aileron in order to find it out. So I'll hold the fly bar as level as I can, I'll give it full stick, and as you can see, it doesn't quite reach. So on this, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the aileron and we're going to raise that number in the same swash plate menu. And then we'll go ahead and just roll it until we get the number that we want. And right there, that is pretty close. Now, the way you do the elevator is just transfer your number over that you had on the aileron. On mine, I went from positive 60 to positive 73. So I'm going to take my elevator from positive 60 to positive 73. Now, depending on what servos you have, whatever you have, you may be a negative 60 or you may be a positive 60. I'm using a Spektrum DX9 transmitter, and your numbers could be different. My numbers are positive 73 on the aileron and elevator, and then a positive 70 on the pitch, which is your collective. Now, if you weren't quite where you wanted to be, if you weren't at 0 at mid-stick, what you would do is you would adjust these links right here. The easiest way to do this is to pop a link off and find out what it does. I'll grab my pliers here, I'll pop this link off, and as you can see, if I go up, it's positive. If I go down, it's negative. So if I have too much positive and negative, I know that I need to screw this in or make the link shorter to bring it down and get rid of some of that positive pitch, and vice versa. Mine is like right there, absolutely perfect. This was a used head, so it was pretty much already set up. Now, one thing you might notice is on this link right here, it is kind of leaning in a little bit, but if I put it on the outside, it would be leaning out. The only fix for this would be to take the servo out and actually mount it to the outside instead of mounting it to the inside. I could, but it's not really that much of an angle, so it's not really going to matter, and the angle is always going to stay the same. One thing I forgot to mention, make sure your dual rates are 100%. If you have a dual rate set in this, like 70%, that's all you're going to get out of it. But, and move that flybar paddle so you can see it, if I hit 100%, it adds more. So make sure you're at 100% on your dual rate. And just an FYI, guys, the servos that I'm using on this are the Emax ES09MD. Emax servo 09, don't know what that means, and then MD, Metal Gear Digital Servo. So far, they seem to be working okay. Well, we're going to put it through the test here in just a second. All right, now what we need to do is we need to make sure that our flybar is perfectly centered. Now, it's already got the flybar paddle screwed on, so you're going to have to take them off. All right, with that off, this right here is what you should have. Don't worry about the weights. I just kind of set them somewhere to where I can measure from right here at the end of the flybar cage right out here to the very tip. The way we're going to do that, we're actually going to measure. So I need to turn this on. We're going to put this side right here against the flybar cage, and then we're going to come out here right to the end of that flybar. I'm showing 2.875 inch or 73.03 millimeters. We'll come over here, we'll put it up against it, and we'll just check it. It's actually about a 1/4 millimeter too far this way. 1/4 millimeter, I ain't gonna worry about that. Now that we know that it's centered in the flybar cage, one, make sure these screws are nice and tight. Put a thread lock on them. And then put your flybar paddles back on. Now whenever you line up your flybar paddles, all you gotta do is look right down and line it up to the cage. So we just go a little bit more. That's just a little too much. Right there, looks pretty good. You just want to line it up with that flybar cage. That's all there is to lining those up. Before you put the second one on though, what we need to do is go ahead, measure from the flybar cage all the way out to the paddle. The micrometer does not need to be on for this part because we're going to lock it down. Once it's locked down, double check, make sure your reading's right. Now we can put the other flybar paddle on and get it to the exact same spot. And guys, don't worry about the barking puppy. It doesn't like being outside. Everybody went to church and she's not house trained. Alright, once we're right here, we'll measure, and I need to go about at least a turn. So we'll go one turn, check it, need to go another turn, check it, and just keep doing this until you get the right reading, which is about right there. Now, with your blades completely straight, this you should be able to put in any orientation. It should be perfectly balanced. Now, because of the problems that I had with the helicopter before, with the flybar paddles turning, I don't know if you guys saw that video or not, it's on the channel, I'm going to set these flybar weights about halfway out, or about 2 centimeters, I guess. So we'll unlock it, we'll make sure we're at 0, and then we'll go out 20 millimeters. Puppy's really mad. Yeah, let's go out a little bit more. Let's go 40 millimeters, or 4 centimeters. Alright, lock it in place. We'll go ahead, we'll loosen up our weights. slide it out, put the mic on here, and then slide it up until it touches and lock it down. It's that simple, guys. Double check. Perfect. Do the same exact thing for the other side. Now what the Flybar weights do is it makes the movements a little bit slower the further out they are. You put them all the way in or take them off, and you're going to have the fastest movement that you can get. This does exactly what I need it to do. If I want to do anything like that, I've got, a Pro V2, I've got the 600 DFC, I've got a 550 DFC, I've got other helicopters. This is my Flybar helicopter. So, we're going to double check and make sure our Flybar paddles are exactly where we want them. And with that, the head's set up. Guys, this is probably the most simple head setup you'll do with these fixed links. Because you don't have all them links, you can't adjust these from the Flybar cage down here to the washout arms. You can't adjust the ones from the blade grips down here to the mixing arms. You can't adjust any of those. So, 2 links, plus your 3 servo links to Swash. Yeah. So, with that, let's take this thing outside. Let's give it a quick flight and see how it does. Don't let the canopy fool you. This is not a Pro. I just modified it to look like a Pro. Alright guys, so here we are outside. Got the helicopter sitting there. Remember, I don't have a vertical stabilizer, so the landing could end badly. I have to run 100% because I need a bigger pinion, but other than that, it's a very, very, very slow spool up. We'll get it in the air and we'll just trim it out. A lot of vibrations, them blades weren't straight. It'll get faster, just give it a second. Alright, first thing we want to do is just see if it's drifting anywhere. I do have kind of a swirling wind out here, so don't worry about the bouncing. It seems to be staying put wherever I put it. It might have a little bit of nose forward, so we'll go ahead, add some back, get it back here close to us. And one thing I noticed, my blade tracking is off a little bit, but that shouldn't really matter all that much right now. Alright, check our punch out. Do a little flip. Alright, that flip didn't quite work out. There's a lot of turbulent air up there. Yeah. It's quite windy up there. I'm being blocked by all the trees. I'm facing south, and the trees are kind of blocking it, but the wind's kind of swirling. But all in all, it is not bad. And with that, guys, that helicopter is set up. It's ready to go, as long as it can fight the wind. Now make sure to mark your blades with red and blue. That way you can tell which blade's higher and you can lower it down. You'll just lower it down with those one of the 2 long links that we adjusted before. So with that, we're done, guys. It's right there. All it needs is some very minor fine tuning, and it's ready to go and ready to be flown in calmer winds than we have here. I want to thank y'all for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.